Good afternoon. We have had a very chill morning. We had breakfast at our accommodation, we checked out, and then we came to this cafe where we have been sipping on some coffees and doing some work.
But now it's definitely lunchtime and we are feeling a tad hungry, so we are going to go out in search of some more delicious local food.
We had initially come out with the intention of trying tucumanas, which is like a deep fried empanada or salteña, but unfortunately every single place that we went to only had a mixed one which had chicken in it, and Rachel can't eat chicken, so therefore we ended up basically settling for an Almuerzo. But to be honest with you, this looks like a great place, and in terms of what we're going to be getting, it sounds awesome, so we'll bring you along for that.
The soup was okay, but the beef, salad, and rice were phenomenal. And this entire lunch cost us 32 Bolivianos, which is just a fraction over 6 Canadian dollars. But now we are going to head back to the same cafe as we were at before to do some more work and kill time before our overnight bus.
We actually opted to go for a different cafe, and we've been here now for the last 4 hours just cracking on with work, but now work is officially over and we are going to go and try and find some dinner.
You may have been confused about the point of our whole video, but hopefully it's going to make sense now. We have just arrived to La Paz bus station because we have a 9 o'clock overnight bus to Uyuni, because tomorrow we have a full day tour of the Uyuni Salt Flats. But it gets even crazier than that, because after the tour is done tomorrow, we will be taking an overnight bus from Uyuni all the way back to La Paz. So it's likely going to be 2 rather sleepless nights, and tomorrow will likely be sponsored by coffee, because I really want to be able to take in the Uyuni Salt Flats because it's just something so unique, and I think it's going to be absolutely magnificent.
It definitely will be. For the purposes of really getting the best experience out of it, then I think it's just going to give us a second wind. But yeah, coffee will help. In terms of the bus that we've got, we've actually managed to get one which is a bus cama, so like a bed bus, which apparently means that the seats should tilt back about 160 degrees. So hopefully it'll be quite a comfortable experience, and we might actually be able to get some tip on it in the same way that we did in Thailand.
This bus cost us 121 Bolivianos per person per direction. So I think that's $20 per person each way. So $40 per person total maybe?
Yep.
Which, considering the fact that it is a 9-hour journey each way, is not too shabby.
It's incredible, really.
So let's go check in and get on this bus.
Just sat down on the bus, and it looks like there's all sorts of different mod cons for your comfort. So first of all, we have these little footrests here, so you bring these around and you can put your feet here, and then if that's not comfortable enough for you, you also have this button, and it takes you all the way back here, and it's awesome. So yeah, this should be pretty comfortable to sleep in with any luck. You also have USB charging ports right here. You've also got self-lights and self-air conditioning, just in case you want that. So, with any luck, this should be a relatively comfortable night's sleep, provided it heats up a bit because it's quite cold. But we will catch up with you in Uyuni once we've had a chance to try.
Good morning!
We have just arrived to Uyuni. It is about 7:45. Apparently our tour is meant to start at 10:30, so we've got a bit of time to kill. I don't know about you, I could do with some coffee and some food because I'm a bit hungry and I'm a bit tired.
all fed and caffeinated, we thought we would share our experience on the overnight bus here in Bolivia. For me, I think this was actually my favorite overnight bus experience because compared to Thailand, I found that these were little pods, so you had more privacy. And for someone my height, for example, I'm 5'7", then I found that I had plenty of room to stretch out. And so, not that I had a great night's sleep by any stretch of the imagination, but I did sleep a little bit.
I think it was relatively comfortable and experienced. Like, you didn't necessarily need a pillow. A blanket might have been nice because it did get a little bit cold. I think, unfortunately, for somebody who's kind of maybe over like 6'2", then it may be a little bit short for you. So that's just something to bear in mind. But all the same though, the very fact that we even got a decent amount of sleep on that bus in the first place is really, really good. So yeah, I think that's set us up for the day ahead, which is great.
And I think we'll be getting picked up for a tour in about half an hour. So cannot wait. Also, the cold is no joke here. It's supposed to warm up throughout the day, but this morning it's clearly at least 0, if not into the low negatives.
Yeah, it's not been the most fun, but hopefully the sun will warm us up and we'll forget all about it.
Oh, I'm sure we'll forget all about it when we're at the Uyuni Salt Flats.
Exactly.
That will be breathtaking. The first stop on our tour was at the popular train cemetery. During the Spanish colonial era, llamas and mules were used to transport minerals such as silver, zinc, sulfur, lead, and copper from Potosi Mine to Pacific ports and onwards to Europe. Between 1888 and 1892, after Bolivia gained its independence, the government allowed British engineers to build rail lines connecting the Potosi mines to the nearby town of Uyuni and further to Pacific ports. The trains, mostly used by the mining companies, were a far more efficient method of transporting goods, but after the mining industry collapsed in the 1940s, many trains were abandoned.
Salt Hotel, but it's now been converted into a museum. And one of the most remarkable features of this, you see these bricks? All made of salt. Every single one, just salt.
The Uyuni Salt Flat, also known as Salar de Uyuni, is the largest salt flat in the world, covering 10,582 kilometers squared. Although it sits at an altitude of 3,656 meters above sea level, it's incredibly flat, with less than 1 meter in variation over the entire surface. Roughly 40,000 years ago, the area known as Salar de Uyuni was covered by the prehistoric Lake Minchin, whose water level sat about 150 meters above the current salt flat.
The current salt flats were ultimately formed due to water evaporation and upward movement of tectonic plates forcing the water to other parts of South America. Today, a 10-meter thick salt crust covers a 120-meter deep pool of minerals which is exceptionally rich in lithium and borax.
How cool is the pattern that this salt makes? It's kind of like a turtle shell or even just octagons. This is absolutely wild. And when you walk on it, it's so crunchy.
And when you pick it up, it's just so pure and white and crystalline. Like, this is exactly what salt is meant to look like. Absolutely stunning.
I'm wondering if I could save money and not buy a salt lamp and just collect enough from here and take it home. Would it have the same healing properties?
Try it while no one's looking and see what happens.
I can't believe we have just stopped for lunch in the middle of the salt flats. How crazy is this? Probably the best lunch view in the entire world. That was an absolutely delicious lunch. I can't believe that you can prepare something so elaborate in the middle of nowhere. We had beets, cauliflower, tomato, cucumber, there was beef, eggy pancakes, plantain, potatoes, quinoa, which they grow a lot of here, by the way. But we just finished lunch and our tour guide just told us something super interesting. So if you see here, there's 2 different layers of salt, and apparently this is last year's layer of salt because every year the salt rises by 2 to 5 centimeters and it forms a brand new layer on top, which is of course no longer brown and dirty, but all white and clean.
We have now come to what is locally known as Incahuasi Island, which is also known as Cactus Island or Fish Island. Either way, it's got these gigantic cacti, which I think are thousands of years old, and to go and freely explore this island, then it costs 30 Bolivianos per person.
Is just one of 72 islands here in the Uyuni Salt Flats, and it is smack dab in the middle, which means that the views out around the salt flats are absolutely incredible. And this island was actually formed by coral that used to be underneath that ancient lake from which the Uyuni Salt Flats were formed.
Our last stop of the day was to take in the sunset over a part of the salt flats that was covered in a thin layer of water, creating a beautiful mirror-like effect.
Cheers. Nice to meet everybody and spend the day. We've just been dropped off at the Uyuni bus station because we are taking the overnight bus back to La Paz. But what a phenomenal tour. I think I was rendered speechless most of the day. We are fed tons of images of beaches, mountains, oceans, forests, and other beautiful scenery. But there are so few salt flats in the world that I was just absolutely astounded. And my mind couldn't comprehend that it was salt. I kept thinking it was snow. And when he was driving along so quickly, I was thinking, oh my goodness, we're gonna slip and slide and crash. But of course, it's just a solid surface. So that was a bit of a trip, but everything was incredible. From seeing the salt flats dry and then wet, I thought that that was so special. And going to Cactus Island far exceeded my expectations because I was originally not thrilled that we had to pay something extra on top of the tour, but it was so worth it. And sunset to top it all off, amazing.
Yeah, literally every single part of the experience was just perfect. I really don't think we could have asked for any more from this experience, and it was just glorious. I'm so very glad that while obviously it has cost us probably a couple of nights sleep, we have decided to come because this is possibly one of my favorite experiences from travel so far. If there are ways to better this, I would love to be part of them because I'm not sure how you can.
Yeah, I think this ranks up there with like Great Barrier Reef, hot air balloons in Cappadocia, that type of experience. So probably top 5 likely, maybe top 10 because I can't recall all of our incredible experiences off the top of my head, but it was definitely up there.
That's definitely one that's going to be locked in the memory bank forever. We have a little bit of time between now and the bus, and so we are going to try and fix ourselves some dinner of some variety, and then we are going to get back into what has now become our bed. And just like that, we are now on our overnight bus to head back to La Paz. Since we've already done this journey in reverse, then there's not much else that we can show you, so we're actually going to call it here. But we will pick this up tomorrow. Until next time, take care.
And keep smiling.